It's time for another Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast. Thanks so much for joining me today. Well, last Sunday, I spent the afternoon at the Iowa Speedway as the 28th annual WHO Great Tractor Ride was forming. And every day they send something like 400 tractors that come to the Iowa Speedway out to various cities. I know this is being produced and recorded on Monday, and they've been spending time in Baxter today, and they're going to various cities throughout the beginning part of the week. I know tomorrow they're going to be in Pella, and they're all around. So it's a good time, and again, it's been going on for something like 28 years, and so it's neat that they're starting out in Newton every day, and of course, a lot of those tractor riders are spending their time and money in Newton, and we appreciate them doing that. And with that in mind, we wanted to, of course, talk to some tractor owners and drivers, which we got in some interviews, but we also talked to some city officials too, including Newton Mayor Evelyn George and City Council Member Mark Hallam. We talked to a volunteer today too, and of course some people who were involved in organizing the event, including Scott Knock, who is the main organizer for the tractor ride, and WHO radio farm broadcaster Duane Murley. So make sure you hang out and listen to the podcast. It's quite an event that's been going on for so long, and it's part of the Iowa charm that we have with this tractor ride too, and we'll get to that in just a couple of moments. I want to thank one of our sponsors, Ryan's Tire and Auto on First Avenue in Newton, and always check with them first to see if you have a problem with your car and they can deal with it at Ryan's Tire and Auto. You never know what they can fix, and I checked with them today, and they're going to be putting a new blower motor in for my air conditioner and heater in my car. I drive to and from Des Moines every day, and the weather's getting pretty hot and humid, and so I need to have a good air conditioner so I can be a cool cat over the summer months. So they're going to deal with that. And just a reminder that before you hit the open road this summer, make your first stop Ryan's Tire and Auto. Whether you're road tripping to the lake, heading to the ball game, or just escaping the daily grind, they're here to make sure your vehicle is ready for every mile. From tire checks to oil changes, they've got your back covered during travel season at Ryan's Tire and Auto on First Avenue in Newton. Also, Newton Clinic, they have a new provider there, Kinsey Heiser. She's an ARNP with personal experience in managing type 1 diabetes. Kinsey brings compassion and insight to every patient visit, and now she's seeing patients. Give her a call or text her at 641-792-2112, 641-792-2112. And Advantage Credit Union.
Good grades bring accolades. It's report card time again, and Advantage Credit Union is ready to reward your student for their scholastic efforts. Students K through 8 can earn up to $20 per semester by bringing their report card into Advantage Credit Union. We have a PhD in report card history and financial mathematics, so we'll reward your student for doing well in school. Simply be a member of Advantage Credit Union or open up an account for your child or grandchild with a $25 deposit, and we'll take care of the rest.
See Credit Union for details. Member NCUA.
We're at the WHO Great Tractor Ride at the Iowa Speedway, where the tractors will be forming and heading out to the various cities around the area, and they're getting the tractor drivers all registered here, and we're all excited about that. And Mayor Evelyn George is here, and you're kind of the welcoming committee today, aren't you?
You bet. I am welcoming all these people to Newton as well as Iowa Speedway.
What do you think about all these tractor drivers and owners coming to Newton today?
They are so proud. In fact, I just talked with a family. They're going to have the fourth generation that's owned this particular tractor, and 3 generations are riding tomorrow. So it's a wonderful, wonderful event for so many.
It's fantastic. This is a staging area, and this has gone on for so many years. It's become an Iowa tradition, and we want to give you a chance to talk about all the great things going on in Newton, and why people should consider living in Newton, or at least spending some time in Newton.
Yes, we realize that some of these tractor drivers actually have almost family reunions or extended family who come and camp or stay at the hotel. So we have put together a little flyer to let them know what things are available for them to do regardless of their age, so that all the family members can enjoy the time that they spend here.
Well, it's been a great weekend in Newton with Newton Fest and Alumni Weekend and the stuff going on with Center for Arts and Artists and a car show downtown and everything, and a great way to wrap up with the WHO Great Tractor Ride.
Absolutely. It's never a dull moment, and the most exciting thing is that some of the tractors have been selected to come to the farmers market Tuesday night. And the attendees are all invited to come and enjoy the farmers market and the food trucks that'll be there. So please feel free to come and join us Tuesday night at the Green Space by DMAC.
Okay, Mayor Evelyn George from the City of Newton, thank you very much for being out here at the Iowa Speedway, welcoming folks and telling people about all the wonderful things going on in the City of Newton.
It's good to see you here too, Jamie.
Once again, continuing with our podcast from the WHO Great Tractor Ride, and we have a tractor owner driver here. Your name is?
Bob West.
Where are you from, Bob?
Ames, Iowa.
And what kind of tractor do you have?
1954 Oliver 77 diesel.
Now, has it been in the family for a long time?
This is the only tractor my father ever bought new while he was farming.
Are you a farmer now?
No.
I'm
retired.
Not so much. What kind of upkeep does it take to keep that Oliver tractor going?
Well, no more than I get to use it, not very much. I totally restored it in 21, and aside from that, now it's just regular oil changes and keeping it clean.
So is this your first tractor ride, or have you been on many of them?
This is my fifth one for WHO. Last week we went for the Eastern Iowa Tractorcade for the first time over at Mount Pleasant. So 6 of them total. I got started late.
Well, good for you for going on it, though. What do you like best about going on these tractor rides anyway?
Well, I love seeing the scenery. Growing up on a farm, you like seeing farms and everything, but the people you get to talk to and meet, everybody's nice. Nobody's a grump. Nobody complains about stuff. They're out here to enjoy it, and that's what they're doing.
You see many other Oliver tractor out there on the tractor rides?
It depends on the year. When we were over at Eastern Iowa last week, I saw probably close to 100 out of the 380, so a third of the group. Other times, it's maybe a quarter of the group. So it just depends on who can make it at the time. There's a lot of red and the other green out there.
I was going to say, does it ever get mixed up with John Deere?
No, we're the right green, as we like to say.
You're not prejudiced at all, are you?
Well, I grew up on a multicolored farm. We had International, we had John Deere. My grandpa's GP is still in the family. My brother sold the H. And but we had Alf Chalmers later on and whatever, that type of thing. But we always had Oliver 77s, 2 of those, and 88, 1555. So we had all colors. It's whatever you'd come across something at a sale that was just too good to pass up, you'd bought it.
Sure.
So
well, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the WHO Great Tractor Ride.
Thank you very much. You have a good day too.
On the WHO Great Tractor Ride, we're here at the Iowa Speedway getting people registered for the tractor ride and talking to various tractor owners and drivers. Your name is?
Randy Glade.
Okay, Randy, where are you from?
I'm from Guthrie Center, Iowa.
Good old Guthrie Center, you bet. And what kind of tractor do you have?
We're an Oliver family. We're driving this year. We brought 2 770s and a 1650 and a 1655.
Well, ironic, you were just talking with Bob, who's another Oliver driver. You guys kind of stick together, don't you?
Well, that was diagnostic talk. Mechanic by trade, farmer by habit, and make it all come together.
So you are a farmer, huh?
Yes, I am.
Where's your farm?
Our farm's right there in the backside of Lake Panorama out of Panora, Iowa.
How beautiful, huh? That's nice.
It is. It's very enjoyable.
How many acres do you have?
I'm got 360 paid for right now, so I'm doing pretty good.
And what do you raise?
I've got corn, soybean, oats, hay, and a herd of cows.
Herd of cows. How many tractor rides have you been on, Randy?
My dad was on the very first one, and we, as a family, are upholding his tradition from day one.
I think Bob was telling me, 26, 28 years, something like this?
I think you're right there in the money.
Yeah.
I'm not going to quote that because I can't remember.
Well, I'll have to talk to somebody from WHO about that. Well, I work at WHO, but I'm not sure about how many years, but I know it's been going on a long time.
Yeah, we miss Mark and Gary.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we're supporting them from day one.
You bet. You make a lot of friends on this, don't you?
We do, and it fills the shop all winter.
Yeah. What is it you like best about being on the tractor ride?
The camaraderie with all the friends and people, and everything unimaginable can happen, and resolving those issues is part of my game.
Well, and you said you were talking diagnostics about your Oliver tractor with Bob.
Yeah.
Does it take a lot of upkeep?
That depends on your maintenance record. You know, everything stems back to just like cooking out of a skillet. If you got your formula down, it don't take long to fix it.
And do you see a lot of owners of Oliver tractors?
We do. We meet more and more every year, just like introducing to Bob here, just a new friend.
It's like you have your own club.
It is 100% that way, yes.
Well, Randy, thank you for taking the time to talk to me today, and enjoy the city of Newton. I know you're going to go out and grab a sandwich or two out here, and I live here in Newton. I'm born and raised in this town, and I hope you have a good time here. I think you're going to find that people are very friendly.
Yes, I do too. I sure enjoyed the visit with your mayor.
Yes.
She was a wonderful lady to converse with, and I complimented her on this facility they have in her backyard.
Yes. And will you be driving your tractor around the apron here at the Iowa Speedway?
That's the plan.
Okay.
This particular one I'm running, I modified it. It runs 32 mile an hour.
Oh, my goodness. That's fast for a tractor.
Fast for a tractor.
Holy Toledo. Wow. You might win the race around the Iowa Speedway.
I'm not worried about racing.
Okay, all
I'm
right.
just worried about if I stop and help somebody along the road, I can get back with my group.
There you go. And having fun, right?
And having fun.
Okay, Randy. Thank you. Enjoy yourself on the Great Iowa Tractor Ride.
Okay, thank you very much.
We're with another couple that has a tractor. And your name is?
My name's Howard Heminger.
And Howie, where are you from?
We're from upstate New York in the Rochester, Syracuse area.
You came all the way from there?
All the way out there to just check this out and make sure it was going to be a fun time.
All right. And your name is?
I'm Carol Heminger.
All right, great. Tell us about your tractor.
The tractor is homemade. We travel around the country quite a bit with it, and we wanted something that would go in the back of our camper.
Oh.
So I took 8 Farmall tractors and made a tractor, and it looks like a small Farmall 1066. And we've done things to it. It's safe, has roll bar, has 2 seats. And it'll go 23 miles an hour, which makes it keep up very well on tractor rides. And we've had a lot of fun with it for 10 years now.
A homemade tractor, that is amazing. What made you decide you wanted to do that?
Well, we wanted to travel a little bit more and do things away from home. And I would have liked to have had the full-size 1066. The problem with that is the logistics of moving it around all over the place to do it. So it was more economical to make something and make it look like what I want it to look like. And this goes right in the back of the camper like it belongs there.
Have you always been a person that has wanted to work with vehicles and done maintenance and that kind of thing? Or was this something totally new to you?
Well, I'm a retired farm boy, so I've had a wrench and a screwdriver and a welder in my hand my whole life. And I made a tractor 11 years ago, and when I got through with it, it worked very well for tractor rides, but it had no theme. So I wanted to make one more that had a theme, and the theme was going to be the Farmall 1066. So that's what it turned out to be.
Okay, why that kind of tractor anyway?
In May of 1976, I bought the last 1066 black stripe, that my dealer had for sale. And the fellows that worked for me liked it. I liked it. My dad liked it. Everybody liked that tractor. And then we had an auction in the late 80s. The tractor got bought. The owner ended up buying my farm. So my 1066 was back in my shop working in my fields. And I just always liked that tractor. So I wanted it to be something I could connect to.
Tell us about your farm when you had it. What did you raise? How many acres did you have?
We were working about 1,300 acres, and it was pretty much all commercial vegetables. We was growing about 600 acres of peas, 150 acres of table beets, 150 acres of snap beans, and the rest was corn and wheat for rotation.
Okay, well, I got to talk to Carol here, get the microphone in front of her. Is this your first kind of tractor ride you've ever been on, Carol?
No, we do them in New York, but we only go for one day. So this is kind of a fun thing to do 3 days in a row. I think we'll really enjoy it. So,
what did you think when he told you he wanted to build his own tractor? Did you think he was crazy, or did you encourage him? Were you a cheerleader for him?
I already know he's crazy, so I did cheer for him. And if he had questions about what I thought I needed for the tractor, then I would come out and tell him, yeah, I need a safety bar in front of me, or I also need a cup holder to put a bottle of water in. So there was little things that I said, okay, this is what we need for it, and it's a very comfy little tractor. It is a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with it.
Tell us about the area where you're from.
We're from the Finger Lakes area. There's a lot of lakes. In fact, we're only 3 miles from a lake, a beautiful lake, Seneca Lake. We live in Geneva. So there's also, we have fruits. We have a lot of grapes in the area. There's a lot of wineries in our area. We have apple orchards, cherry orchards, and with all the vegetables in the area, it's just a beautiful area.
It sounds beautiful. I hope you guys have a great time and the weather cooperates nicely. There is some rain in the forecast, so, we hope it holds off a little bit. But coming all the way over here from New York State, good heavens. And thank you for coming, and we want to make you feel welcome here in Newton, Iowa, and all the little towns you go through. It's going to be a good time, I promise you.
Okay, thank you so much.
In the little towns we've already been to, everybody's been very welcoming. We feel almost at home right here, because they're our type of people. They're all country people, and we can fit in and talk to any of them.
Thanks for taking the time to chat with me today.
You're welcome.
I'm talking with Anna Foley, who is the promotions director for iHeart in Des Moines, and I work with her with contests and various things, and she's just going very crazy here, very, very busy at the Iowa WHO tractor ride with everything happening here. And so I'm not going to keep you long, Anna, but tell us what you're doing here today.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, Jamie. Right now we're working on registration. All the riders are here to pick up their rider numbers, the registration packet, get their T-shirt and hat. So we're checking everyone in, and the tractors are rolling into the parking lot.
Well, this is a lot of work, but I'm sure it's a labor of love for you and the folks at WHO Radio. It's been going on for a long time.
Yes, that is correct. It's finally here, and it's kind of crazy to believe it, but once we saw the tractors rolling in, I was like, okay, today's the day. Here we go.
Well, great. So for people who don't know, tell us about your job, what the promotion director does.
Yes, so I'm the promotions director here at iHeart Des Moines. So I work with all 7 of our radio stations with contesting, marketing, social media, with upcoming events and concerts. So I have a really cool job where I have a variety of things that I get to be a part of, like this event here at the tractor ride.
Yeah, when there's any contests or anything like that going on, we do the Star Spangled Banner, and she promotes that every Monday morning, and I'll be doing that tomorrow morning with Duane.
Yes.
Anna is the one that promotes all that, promos you here on the radio station. She encourages all that too. So Anna, you do a great job, and I know you're busy, and I'll let you get back to work. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Anna Foley, promotions director for iHeart Des Moines. And your name is?
Trent and Islander.
Okay, Trent, what are you doing here today?
We're here for the 2025 Great Iowa Tractor Ride.
All right. You used to have a tractor, right?
I did. I sold it, as part of my FFA project. So out here volunteering with others to help individuals from all across the country get their tractors unloaded off the trailer and get them in their parking spot and let the next person go.
You used to be an FFA state officer, I understand.
I did, yes. I served in the 2021-2022 Iowa FFA state officer team.
Well, what did you like so much about being an FFA?
Well, I've always enjoyed working on the farm with Grandpa and part of advocating for agriculture education and then the ag community here in the great state of Iowa and throughout the Midwest.
Did you take part in county fairs or the Jasper County Fair, that kind of thing, and have different projects?
Oh, I just had the one small project with the lawn business that I had, part of our SAEs, but we also restored some tractors as well. So,
Well, tell us about the tractors you restored. That must have been quite a project.
yeah, growing up, Kenneth Langrebe, he's passed away now, but we restored a lot of Alice Chalmers tractors, anywhere from the D17s, wide front ends, to the WD45s, all the way to WCs, and all the way to the Alice Chalmers 190 diesel. So,
Tell us about the farm you used to work on.
well, I still currently work on the farm, just a different farm, but farms I work for, we got 4,000 acres, corn, soybeans, so right now we're in the process of cleaning out bins and getting ready here for the harvest. Watching the corn grow from light green to dark green, the harvest money, as they always say. So it's great to see the weather and the cooperating here for the farmers, and hopefully to see markets kind of increase here to benefit farmers here throughout the Midwest.
That's great. And the weather's been pretty cooperative for planting and growing so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's just starting to get into the humid temperature a little bit, so farmers are kind of staying inside right now just a little bit. Or I guess when I say inside the cabs with the AC, right? They're not outside physically doing scooping corn or beans right out of the bins, but we always wait for the cool days to go before we scoop out bins.
You haven't been on the tractor ride yet, though, have you?
I have not, so I have yet to do that, which is one of the bucket list here, but I've always volunteered with the WHO to just as much as I do with the county fairs and the Iowa State Fair, just to be a matter of fact. There's something great about Iowa Nice, the Iowa community, and we have 50 volunteers out there now just helping people get their tractors unloaded, making sure they know where they need to go, and making sure that, as we advocate for Newton here, the Get to Know Newton slogan, that they know the Iowa Speedway and the Iowa racetrack. And this is a huge deal to have the Iowa tractor ride here start around the track, just as much as my class did in 2020 when we graduated. My class was the first class to get to drive our vehicles around the track as part of the COVID plan that they had. So that was great for our class here. It's great for the tractors. Many of our classmates are participating here in the Great Iowa Tractor Ride. Some of my family members are participating, but I'm just volunteering this year as a part of my academic requirements. So.
Well, thank you so much for helping out today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We're with Scott Knock, who's a big organizer here for WHO Radio and is an account executive for WHO. And Scott, how many years has the tractor ride been going on?
This is our 28th ride. Started back in 1997 with Mark Pearson and Gary Worgan. So we're honored to keep the tradition going.
And it takes a lot of work to put this together. You've been doing this for quite a while. Tell us about, all the work that it takes and all the hands-on and people that come together to make this happen.
Yeah, the process starts in September. I start with about a list of about 10 to 15 communities I'd like to site visit and make phone calls and narrow the list down and talk to sponsors and really come back with one real prime target, and hopefully it works out. In this case, the Speedway was very gracious to us, and they've made it very clear they wanted us. It's about a 9-month process in planning. I only take about 3 months off after the ride when not think about it. Yeah. So it's a big overall, but we're just excited for the opportunity to continue to show Iowa's great agricultural landscape to such a great group of people.
Well, and it's part of the charm of WHO Radio, too.
It is. It's what WHO stands for. It's Iowa's premier radio station, and our farm department is the nation's premier farm department. There's just an excellent opportunity for us to bring people together in a time where crops are kind of growing on their own, so there's not a lot of attention on the farm. And it's a family reunion of sorts for over 380 families this year. So.
Well, I want to give you a chance to plug some of the big sponsors of this, too, because, it doesn't just happen with WHO.
I couldn't do it without the team of Don Van Houweling and the Van Wall team and the John Deere team. I couldn't do anything we do on the ride without the John Deere team. We don't say we're color biased at all. We have all sorts of colors on the ride, but the John Deere green is very important to us. This year, Hy-Vee's been very influential in us because of their partnership with the track. But then you got some of our legacy sponsors, Titan Tire, have been with us for years. Housby Auction has joined us this year. Housby's joining the auction side of things. So there's just some really great people that understand the mission for what the ride is and want to keep it going.
And so a couple quick questions here before I let you go. How did you decide on Newton? How did you decide on the route, Scott?
First thing on deciding on Newton was the home base. The offering from the Speedway was critical. The ability to take the tractors around the track. When I plan this ride every year, I look for opportunities that the general public couldn't get. A couple years ago, we touched tires down in Rock Island, which was the first time the tractor ride went across state borders. So the ability to go around the track was important. And then you start planning the route and you start to look at FFA groups, local community schools, local organizations that want to be a part of it. And it kind of slowly pieces itself together over time. But we're really excited. We'll have about 100 and when it's all said and done, about 190 miles over 3 days. So we're real excited to put this together.
Scott Knock, County Executive Extraordinaire, and I'm going to have to call you the Chief Organizer here for the annual WHO Great Tractor Ride. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
At the Iowa Speedway with the WHO Great Tractor Ride, and we want to talk to longtime friend, schoolmate, chum, city councilman, all-around great American, Mark Hallam, about being here today for the tractor ride. And basically you're here kind of to help out Mayor Evelyn George if she needs a break. Is that pretty much the plan here, Mark?
That is absolutely true, Jamie, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm going to have to go back and get a copy of that to play to myself from time to time.
Everybody needs a self-esteem boost every
That's
now
right.
and then. But Mark and I go way back to high school, that's for sure. And just real quick, before we talk about the tractor ride, it was a big weekend for Alumni Weekend, and you and Bill Peters did a podcast about that, and it was real successful.
It was a fun event, Jamie, and I don't have the numbers yet, but I would estimate that there were close to 1,000 people in and out of Legacy Plaza for the Friday night all-alumni event. It was a great deal of fun.
Well, and I know the Maid Ride was busy on Saturday. People always got to go back to the Maid Ride for that. So this is your first tractor ride. What do you think about them bringing it to Newton?
I think it's wonderful. This is a great event for the city of Newton, and in fact, all of eastern central Iowa, because I think most people know that they're going to be driving all over through eastern central Iowa. And it's exciting. You know, I've talked to people from Pennsylvania, New York State, and it's great not just to bring them to Iowa, but to bring them to Newton to see this wonderful facility that we call the Iowa Speedway.
So people that are listening that aren't from Newton, I had Mayor George talk up Newton a little bit, but you're on the city council, and there's a lot of benefits to living in Newton. So let's give you a chance to do a little PR for the city of Newton. What's so great about living here?
Jamie, I think the greatest thing about Newton is that this is a small town atmosphere, and it offers what you would expect with small town amenities. But then we also have the large city amenities. We have more parkland per capita than nearly any other city in Iowa. We have a wonderful full-service library, and of course, full-service police and fire department. And you can have all this in Newton and yet only be 35 minutes away from downtown Des Moines. I think that is the best selling point for the city of Newton.
Well, I drive back and forth every day and get up bright and early in the morning to do my gig at WHO Radio and then come back in the morning. And, you know, we've talked about this before, but, you know, if you get up at a decent hour and, 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, and get on the road to Des Moines and want to commute, the sun is at your back, and on the way home in the afternoon, the sun is at your back too. So it works out pretty good.
That's right. That's a huge selling point. And I think another selling point for the city of Newton when you talk about central Iowa in general is our housing prices. Housing prices are quite reasonable in Newton. And again, 35 minutes from Des Moines. I think that's a huge...
And for those who don't know, tell us about, I don't know if I should call it a $10,000 rebate or a tax abatement or what it is, but if you build a home in Newton, there's a $10,000 thing, a kickback that you get, right?
Well, we don't like kickback, Jamie, but in fact...
Maybe that's the wrong wordage to use, but maybe you could define it a lot better than I did, Mark.
Well, it's a housing incentive program to encourage builders and new homeowners to build in Newton. And it's a $10,000 cash back from the Newton Housing Development Corporation and the city of Newton. And I believe it's been very successful. That program started in 2014, and we expect it to continue at least for the foreseeable future.
Mark, anything else you want to add?
Well, no, I'm just delighted to be here. I'm excited to see all the tractors. I was never really a farm boy, but again, I love seeing all these people come to Newton for an event like this.
Newton City Councilman Mark Hallam at the WHO Great Tractor Ride. Well, we're going to wrap up the podcast with longtime legendary farm broadcaster for the state of Iowa, Duane Murley, and he's become a friend. We chat back and forth off the air every morning because he does a farm block between 5 and 5:30. And for those who don't know, let's talk about your history in broadcasting, Duane. When did you first get into farm broadcasting?
Well, thank you, Jamie, for asking me about part of your podcast. The year, I know I was 13 or 14 years old when I first started doing commercial radio, and did that all through high school. And then
now, where was that, Duane?
Actually, that was in Storm Lake. I grew up in Sac City, but I was doing a newscast over the noon hour on the Storm Lake radio station, and did that from 7th or 8th grade until I graduated. And then, before my senior year, because I started working in Fort Dodge on KWMT and KKAZ in 1985, and that was my senior year towards the end, and spent nearly 40 years there. And then coming up on a year ago, I accepted a job at WHO and started on December 6th of 2024. So that brings us to where we are today, which you are the first person I talk to every morning at about 4:45, and from there we roll through the early morning show with you and Jeff, and then back for the big show with Bob, and I usually have the markets wrapped up by 1:30 in the afternoon and start working on the next day.
You've been there about a month longer than I have. I got there in January at WHO, and I was let go by the same company that you used to work with too, Alpha Media. So it's ironic that we ended up together. Now, I have to ask, did you always want to be a farm broadcaster?
You know, that's interesting because probably not. I was just looking for any job in radio, and the farm director at KWMT at that time had to be gone, and he said, I need you to do markets for me. I need to be gone for a few days, and kind of gave me a crash course and a template to go by, and that was probably in 1985. So, but no, that was not my original intentions, but that's how it worked out. And I think anybody in radio, when you look back and you put your whole life into it, you don't really know where it started. It just happened, and so many things just happen, and for no other reason than that's, I guess, what we're meant to do.
Well, we all have a story about radio. I'm lucky that I always knew I wanted to be in radio, and I'm wearing a shirt here. I call it my radio shirt, Duane.
Yes.
And this is a picture of me, 7 years old, playing radio in the bedroom of my house. I always knew what I wanted to do, and I'll tell you my story in a nutshell. My sister's boyfriend worked at the local radio station here, KCOB, and he was part-time, and I would go in, and I would hear the teletype. You kids, that was like the internet back in the day. I would hear the teletype going clickety-clack, and my heart would start racing. He would give me old records to play on my little radio station in my bedroom. The headphones I'm wearing there came from the engineer. They didn't work, of course, but I get equipment from him. And then KIOA back in the day had studios that faced the street. You could watch the DJ. On the right side of the building was on Keo,
Yep.
And on the left side was the news person. And I remember as a kid, being 7 or 8 years old, perceiving that, a lot of adults really, they just did a job just to get food on the table and provide for their families. And I watched that DJ up there, and that guy was having fun. Yeah. He was cracking jokes and playing music and having a good time. And I said, that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I set my sights on for the rest of my life. And I didn't start as early as you did. I was 17 when I started. But how did you get a job when you were that young anyway, Duane?
Ironically enough, in Sac City, our high school had a high school radio station, KSAC, and I got started in that very early, 7th or 8th grade. And then in town, there was a lady that did a local newscast for the radio station Storm Lake over the noon hour, and basically back then I'd do local news, who was in the hospital, the babies that were born, who got thrown in jail, who passed away, the air temperature, wind speed, and all that. So I started doing that for Vivian over the noon hour. I get out of school over the noon hour, and I would go down and I would sit in the principal's office, and I call in the newscast, and like 45 minutes before it aired, and so that's really kind of how it all got started with the high school radio station, and then getting the position to fill in on commercial radio.
You seem to have a real passion for farm broadcasting. What do you like best about it, Duane?
Just everything, because I grew up in town in Sac City, but I spent every second I could on our grandparents' farm. So I've always kind of known that, and I've been, farming's been a part of my life since the day I was born. And, you get comfortable doing things that you like, and I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Well, this is your first tractor ride. I know you've heard about it over the years. Are you excited for this, Duane?
I am, and this is actually the 28th annual WHO Great Iowa Tractor Ride. I have been on the ride before, not as a staff member though at WHO. So I'm kind of getting to see the behind the scenes type stuff right now. So, but yeah, it's going to be fun.
And by the way, people should know that your mom is in the Van and Bonnie Name Hall of Fame.
She is, Shirley Murley, and you just heard my phone ring a little bit ago. It was actually my mom and dad.
Okay.
They're coming down to look at the tractors, and I think they're actually at the Speedway now. But yeah, Shirley Murley is in the Van and Bonnie Name Hall of Fame.
Okay, well, we'll talk to you over the intercom tomorrow morning when I get you on the air from the Iowa Speedway for the Great Iowa Tractor Ride. Duane Murley, legendary farm broadcaster for WHO Radio. Thanks for talking with me today.
Well, thank you, Jamie. I don't know about legendary. I'm just a guy that loves what I do and love getting up every morning at 3:30 to do what I love.
This podcast has also been sponsored by Wesley Life Park Center. Pursue your joy at Park Center by offering living options across a continuum. Park Center provides vital, enriching environments for everyone, a community for healthy living focused on holistic health and well-being. Their programming enhances emotional, intellectual, and spiritual wellness and enables you to live a life that's healthier in every way. Park Center is at home in Newton, with many residents and team members having lived in their lives. To learn more about Park Center's different levels of living and to find the lifestyle that's right for you, contact Lisa Zylstra at 641-791-5000. The Out and About with Jamie Grout podcast also sponsored by Jersey Freeze in Monroe, Lynette Baker Halo Branded Solutions, and Westside Java Coffee Bar. Until next time, Grout is out. See ya!